Be careful. He's and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
Welcome to the Acement, everybody. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Ace Aceto.
And we are going to talk about our bourbon day at the end of the podcast tonight. So make sure you stay around to the end because we got a great story about that. We do not want to waste time getting to our guests because we are very excited for tonight.
Yes, we are. And I wish I had more of a voice to talk to him. So you may be leading this one.
No problem, buddy. My pleasure. My pleasure.
But we are so excited. We've been working on this one for a long time, and we're so excited to have him on because this guy has been a staple in the comedy community nationally since the 80s. I think I might be able to do one voice. He's the Lovemaster, baby.
No,
that's not,
no,
nothing
no,
like him.
no.
I know. All right, well, we're going to bring him in so that he can do it if he wants. But please welcome to Behind the Funny, Mr. Craig Shoemaker. There he is.
How did Ace get in the title and poor Scott isn't he's not in the basement with you or in an attic or anything like that? It's the Acement.
It's the Acement.
One of our guests called it that because we built the studio in Ace's basement. So
it's in Ace's basement.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't live there too. All right.
Yeah,
No.
so as we led this poor person blindly into the basement at Ace's house, they weren't really too comfortable about that. And they nicknamed it the Acement for us, so it just kind of stuck. And we've
Bodies
been doing
buried
it
in
ever
there.
since.
I mean, you are near Providence. There could be bodies.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about
Hey,
Providence, as
we
you
don't like
know.
we don't like
Yes,
to
the Whitey
talk.
Bulger.
Yeah, he's been
yes.
down here a time or two.
Down there, some gold teeth.
Exactly. There's been a few molars extracted under bridges in this area. So
Hey, listen,
that's
my
for sure.
last name ends in a vowel. I'm feeling very attacked right now.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Hey, as they say, no disrespect.
Yeah, I don't
Hey,
No disrespect.
Dom Irera. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Nothing for nothing. All right? Nothing for nothing.
No.
But Craig, we appreciate you taking time, to come on, man. We've been fans for a very, very long time. I was trying to think about it. I'm like, what is my, when's the first time I remember seeing you? And correct me if I'm wrong. You were on I think it was a young comedian special on Showtime that Tim Allen hosted. Because I remember you and Jack Gallagher, I think, were on the same one.
It was a special that launched quite a few people, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And
Cole Sanders was on that, and Mick Lazinski, and she's out of Denver. We had Elvis.
Yes. It had the glasses and the Elvis style hair.
Mudflap McGrew. He wasn't Mudflap. Steve McGrew. I mean, a lot of like that was the days when they had people who were masters of the craft.
Yeah.
All of those people had it down, and it's the one. I don't want to be one of these guys. It's like cranky, OG cranky over here. I don't want to be OG cranky, but it was structured comedy with callbacks, and you had fluidity, and now we have gender fluidity. I don't know where the world is. It was defined. Actually, men and women were defined. You could do material about, hey, men do this and women do that. And how about your wife? And now it's like anybody's offended if you don't cover the whole spectrum.
Right.
Including people being on the spectrum. There was no spectrum. There's no ADD then. There was
Yeah, right.
we were just hyperactive, right?
Right. When I was a kid,
I was so hyper. I used to sleepwalk and wet my sister's bed. I was just hyper. And it's so weird. The ADD, it's attention deficit. What normal kid pays attention?
Right.
Have you ever heard a kid come up to you? I hear every single word you say. I'm focused. I'm looking you right in the eye. I have an attention surplus. I'm gonna go rewire the home. No,
Right.
I'm paying attention in your class and the class next door. I have so much.
that's how dialed in I am.
Yes.
But nobody is. Nobody, and it's insanity what's going on now. Everybody has to have a label and defined by their labels and everything else. So I grew up in a time in comedy where there was such freedom of speech and people weren't so bothered and sensitive and things like that. Now, it's not like we're insensitive. That's the thing, is people think you're instantly insensitive if you're not listening. But you have to understand, everyone has feelings.
Right.
But isn't it important that everyone has to have their feelings,
validated?
Spared?
Right.
I mean, it's just, do we have to walk around like that? Where you're just removing history and statues and as if it didn't exist. It existed. Assholes existed.
Right.
Yes.
They still do. Douches existed. They still do. Hateful people, bad people, it all still exists. So why not say what it is?
Right.
Instead of running around and avoiding it. So, there's a saying I have is avoidance of pain is worse than pain.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to avoid things fester and it gets worse, and you don't
because
press
then
yourself, you hide yourself. And it's just so I got to do bits about it.
Well, because when because
exactly,
but
that'll
when
get
you
that frustration out.
But when you because,
I'm very spiritual. Personal development, all that. I live in Los Angeles, but I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm like stuck between namaste and kiss my ass. That's where I live, in that space.
I think I heard someone say namaste and namaste away.
Yeah, stay away from my ass. Okay.
Yeah. No, but you're right, because avoidance of pain only makes it worse when you feel pain. How many times when we were growing up did we hear people say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Exactly. Well, if you're in this bubble the whole time, the slightest little thing, and that's why we're to the point where any little thing, like I joked at the beginning of the show, hey, I have a vowel in my last name, I'm feeling attacked. That was a joke. Like, I wasn't really feeling attacked, but nowadays there would be a whole group of people who'd be protesting outside.
Well, and the problem nowadays is, when I was talking about this with someone,
protest signs.
When we were younger, if my parents didn't want me to hear something, they were offended by something, they turned it off or changed the channel. Nowadays, people want to take it off for the rest of the world not to hear it.
Exactly.
And if you said it, they shoved a bar of soap in your mouth.
Right. Exactly.
So now you knew not to say it until the parents were nowhere around.
I thought Dial tasted really good when I was growing up.
Oh my
God. I didn't mind Dial.
Still taste it, and the chips. My mom shoved it in my mouth, so chips of soap were flying.
When I was
speech bubbles like I was in a cartoon.
When the soap didn't work, my mother moved to Tabasco on the tongue. We'd stick out the tongue, put Tabasco on our tongue, and we'd have to stand there holding our tongue out with Tabasco on it.
I did that to my kids, and you know what? All my kids love hot sauce now.
It backfires
like,
on you.
What do you got, old man?
So did you grow up
near a wooden spoon?
My God! My father mounted that on the wall like a gun rack.
It was never used for food.
No. There was one used for food.
Why even sell it in utensils?
No,
that was a weapon.
They sold them in gun stores.
Store. Here you go. You can have AK or you can have a wooden spoon.
There was one in the drawer, but there was always one on the wall that was extra large. That was for decoration and beatings.
What length wooden spoon are you looking for? So you want the 9-inch, the 12-inch? What do you need? So we got them all.
By the way, anybody under 35 is listening to us going,
they hate us.
Sick. This is really sick. How can you be raised like that? But listen, how would we be as a country? We wouldn't be a country if it was about this. It's all theory. That's what bothers me. It's all theory. Like the timeout. I tried the timeout thing with my son. I go, as soon as my kid was old enough, I go, you're in a timeout. And I leave the room. He follows me out of the room. I go, what are you doing? He goes, timeout's over. Well, now what do I do?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I can't say, go give me something to beat you with. Like our parents.
Work.
I got to go, what do I do? So I put him back in the room. He follows me out of the room. I can't do any corporal punishment. Because, listen, how would we have fought the English under these conditions when we got, the independence from the English?
Right.
They'd be marching along. Hold on now. He's looking for some safe space.
Time out, Redcoat. Time out.
Time out. Put down the fife, the drum. No more muskets. Put those away. They're calling for a safe space. They're drawing a boundary.
No, you're right.
You called him a name. Time out.
Called him a name.
But speaking of like
those minute men, those second men. Anyway,
but speaking of like you brought up at the beginning, comedians of nowadays too are different because when you said it was a well-structured joke with callbacks and fluidity, that's because you had to pay your dues and work on it. And now the problem is someone calls himself a comic, comes up with 3 minutes of material, puts it on TikTok and blows up, or wants to have their own special. That you used to have to earn a special. Yeah. Now everyone, and I get it, it came from people getting beaten down by Hollywood by them saying, like a Louis C.K. or someone, by saying, well, fine, I'm going to make my own, and then I'm just going to, I'm going to get it out there. But now the problem is everyone thinks they can do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing is you got the groundbreaking devices, and and it's always switching. Yeah. I've been at this for a long time. I was at it one time. People would come to me and ask how I did it, how I got so many fans. You know how I did it? Yeah. A postcard and a stamp. Yeah. And I made a fan club, and I had a fan club president, made Club Shoe. I still run into some people that were in it, by the way.
Really?
And that's how I got that. And then Dane Cook came along, did MySpace. I mean, each one.
Yeah.
And now it's evolved
all along the way. And then we're stuck with, somebody who's like, I know how to do comedy, and I'm in 90 minutes, and it's it's an experience for people, a standing ovation, stuff like that. So we're in this position of going, wait a minute, the TikTokers, they're going to pack it out. The clubs are going to want them. And we're like going to the clubs. Oh, yeah. We're like last on the list now. If you're funny, funny's not important anymore.
No, just selling seats,
and that's
all that matters now.
Selling seats,
and I think there's going to be some sort of balance that's going to happen. That's going to run out. I did notice the other day. I booked a couple times. This has happened actually. I booked people to open for me that had large followings. Yeah, they drew 0 people.
Really,
0 people, because a lot of times they're following them for ridiculous reasons. Like they call it. Have you heard of this one, thirst trap?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like women who dress scantily clad, and they do whatever, and people are going, I gotta get, it's like watching porn, and so they follow them because they want to follow these hot women.
Yeah,
and so they have all these. So it's this illusion,
right?
They have all these followers and who will be there for them and support them. No, they won't.
No, they just want to
there
see
for free
videos.
to look at some free half nudity.
Yes,
So I'm trying to get the algorithm here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my act with 2 women in bathing suits behind me.
And test the algorithm and see if it works.
Well, it works for boxing. They walk around with a one. They can go joke segment number 2.
I was just gonna say punchline coming.
And they just walk across the stage with these signs that say or either that or laugh, applause.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Old school.
I never reference them. I never even look at them. Just have them there.
Yeah.
And then they're going to draw people in, and the people are going to go, I want to see the guy with the hot chick behind him.
I would love.
You can laugh and masturbate in the same time.
I would love to see that video of just a girl in a bikini walking by behind you. Applause, laugh. Yeah. That would be the greatest video. That's going viral. If you post that,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's going. Now, did you mention Philadelphia? Is that where you grew up?
Do you think she should put on the sign behind me if it's on video? Thirst trap. Just put it up there
too. Yeah,
just like lean into it. I'm creating this on the spot here. You don't think I'm going to do? I am going to do this.
This is pretty brilliant. This is pretty brilliant.
Good, because then we can use this clip when we put it on TikTok and Reels, and maybe we'll get followers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we'll tag all of us.
We'll tag you and them in it and pull it all in together. He's writing it down right now. He's writing it down
in his notes.
I am. Look, something has to happen. You think we're going to get any followers from this podcast?
No.
Trust me, we've been trying for a while.
We've been trying for a while.
Oh, it's crazy. I was talking to my team yesterday. Yeah. It's unbelievable what's going on with the everything out there. I'm trying to get my team to do. They want to do a podcast. I'm going, what good is that going to do? I've done them before, and it's either you're high. It's like Tsarist Russia. You're either
up here or you're down here, right?
Or you're way down there with the proletariats.
Yeah.
It's scarfing up some bad soup. So it's like I don't know. So they're convinced I am going to do it. I'm
But
going to tell you
you
the
have
title
a
right now.
following.
You're the first to hear this.
That's awesome. No, but you have a following already.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Been a nationally touring comic for so long that, see, for guys like us who are local comics, regional comics, it's tough to grow a following because even with the podcast, because we don't have that national following. We were talking about it. Like, what's the one I always bring up? Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
The three of those guys are all famous already. So, of course, if they start a podcast, it's going to do great. The women from The Office, one of the biggest TV shows ever, they start a podcast. Of course, their numbers are going to go up. It's taken us a long time to build up the numbers that we have at this point.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
All 27 of them.
We had to build
it
organically.
Use that number. You
Really?
know, when I coach, I mentor comics,
Right.
I have courses and things like that. Isn't that weird that that's always the number that you use?
Because it's a funny number. Why?
I don't even know why. Because
there's
now I
certain
know
numbers that are funny.
27. It's like no matter what. And, and my now ex-wife will go, "You're always exaggerating." I said, "Of course it's not 27 literally,
Right?
But that's my number. That's the name make people laugh."
Yeah.
But
63 is another one.
The whole podcast thing is another formula where as soon as I'm going to get it, then it'll go away. I mean, look, my audience is on AOL, so I don't know what the hell's going to happen here.
They're still dialing up.
Yeah, they still get the discs for 1,000 free hours.
Yeah. You've got mail.
Hey,
So
I'm
did
going to be
you-
honest with you. To keep this between us and the 27 people, I still have AOL. I do. I have it just because you never know who's going to get in touch with me from back in the day. Some
From
girl
back in the day.
that we used to date or something. That's the only way she can find me. I mean, I have all the other email addresses and stuff.
Yeah.
The Gmail. By the way, the Gmail. But can I curse on here? By the way,
Absolutely.
yeah. I always think I'm doing radio.
No. We're just a couple
It's
of clowns
Lord
in
and
a
Wally
basement.
in Boston.
Yeah.
Wacka wacka.
Yeah. So I got to watch it.
Sorry.
Now you took me off track. I
I'm
don't even.
sorry.
What was I talking about?
AOL.
AOL. And
Yeah.
keeping all the different email addresses. Having all the different ones.
I don't know what the hell I was going to say.
I'm sorry. That's a slide whistle. Does it
No,
every
I'm the
time.
one that took us off the base of can I curse on here? I
oh,
know what
yeah.
it is. The Gmail password. I'm arguing with them. It's not strong enough. I'm arguing. Am I strong enough? And they're going, I need a symbol. I need a star. I need a number. I say, how's this? Pound my ass, motherfucker, cocksucker, suck my dick. 1, 2, 3. That one passed by. Now you are.
I was going to say,
now you
would have
like,
been better if it came back and said, sorry, this one's taken.
You can't use the same one twice.
now 27 people could break into my mail now that I just gave that away.
man.
I'm going to have to change one cocksucker in there. Or some, in your area,
I was going to say put 2 C's at the beginning of
Put
cock.
two K's in the middle.
cocksucker. I love the way you guys talk there.
Yeah,
Dude, wicked cocksucker.
Wicked
Oh,
cocksucker.
cocksucker. And you're the only people that can say retard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so it's unbelievable. You can't say anywhere else in the country, and no one will even say anything to you. Even the cancel cultures, if you say you fucking retard, then they got no problem with it. But you put the hard R on there, I can't even say it.
And that's the thing. It's because they don't know we're saying the same word that would be said elsewhere. They think it's a Northeast made up word.
College professors here say that.
Yeah, right.
Did you even study for this test, or
What
you
are you,
just
retarded?
retarded?
So let me ask you this, because I know Scott asked that you grew up in Philly. Is that where you started doing comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Was
Yeah,
it in Philly? What made you get on stage that first time?
Well, it's a weird story. It's again.
We love those.
I don't want to say that we were trailblazers, but that in the 80s we were trailblazers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember Rosie. I started with Rosie O'Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
We used to tour together, like as co-headliners and stuff. And we used to say, we could count the comedians in the business,
right?
And we go, oh, you forgot about Ron Darien, and we were like. Name all these comics, and I booked them too. I used to book a one-nighter called "Laugh Your Buns Off" outside of Philadelphia, and the New Yorkers would come down. Like Bill Maher was there, and Rich Hall, and I mean, it was like all these like really big comics with Eddie Murphy, before he made it, and just all these people would come down from New York for $100.
Yeah,
all to work on their crafts, but you had to have at least 20 minutes.
to
So
get
then you
on.
got to really work on it, and you can't just do crowd work. Hey, where you from and all that stuff. You got to
Right.
work on your material.
Right.
So this is the way. It was just more structured then, and I think structured in a good way. This is where I think that young comics can benefit from the older comics who have been there. I mean, because look, I've been doing this since the '80s at the highest level, so I must know something,
Right.
Even when they yell out "boomer" or whatever. I mean, so insulting. Here I am sensitive. I must say I'm sensitive. They can't say that to me, and I'm all this identifying. I'm identifying as 32. And if you have a problem with that,
I don't.
you're an ageist.
There you go. Everything's
I'm a
labels, like you said.
I'm a non-practicing white male. Those days are over. The days are over being a white male. Thank God I found out in my DNA that I'm 14% African from Ghana. So
Oh, really?
I'm black, folks.
So
Wakanda
now you're all set.
forever. Wakanda forever. All right.
That's where that Lovemaster voice came from. It was from deep down in the.
That was your Wakandan.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. That's right, baby. I'm the love master, master of love. Ladies, if there are any ladies listening to these two fucking dudes in a basement. Yeah, that's right. I love you so good. Your neighbor will have a smoke, baby. Yeah, pandemic, my ass. I'll take you to a wet lab in Wuhan, baby. Yeah, 6 feet social distance, 6 feet. That's just the tip, baby.
I
It
think
feels so creepy doing this in your
drop.
basement with two dudes.
No, I know. I think
Really?
we just found a new drop for the beginning of the show.
Yep.
We'll take Frank Santarelli out with his Ace of Sado and Scott Higgins coked up out of their minds.
Yeah, drop my ass, baby. I'm a big old puddle right there, baby. Yeah, I'll get you so wet they'll have to call FEMA. Yeah, baby.
So,
Oh my God. I'm sorry, folks. Erase.
wait a minute. How did
Wow, you know my shit.
how did you?
Oh, I told you I've been a huge fan for a long time.
I'm attempting an interview here, folks, just for the
right.
people listening.
I'm sorry. I'm
Scott
fanboying
and
out right now.
Scott's fanboying. Craig's all over the place.
I know I'm all over the place.
It's all right.
Why
No,
not?
because we really want to. This is one of the things that we found when you try and go to other comedy podcasts. You don't really find out like what Scott started this 7 years ago because he was a fan of
Inside the Actors
Inside the
Studio.
Actors Studio.
Oh
where they
yeah,
really
that's a good idea.
went deep
Yeah.
down into how people got into their craft and how they started. So that's why I wanted to find out, like, how did you? Was it like a lot of us started with a contest? Was it a contest that got you up on stage the first time? Or
No, it was. I worked in a law firm, and
Okay.
I was 17. And this guy Jim Mardinley, he played in a band, and I used to do impressions in the lunchroom. And I worked as a clerk and a messenger, and I thought I was going to be a lawyer. And he said, "Why don't you perform comedy between sets of my band?"
Oh wow.
Well, it was a really unusual debut. It was completely black crowd, like 100%, except for my 5 friends from the Philadelphia suburbs. They were white. And he did his set, and then I went up. It was 107 degrees in August, and it was Sandy Supper Club in the middle of, not the greatest section of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I got like a laugh, and it was crack. It was, man, Mike, you got to be kidding me. And
Oh yeah, that's
and then-
usually
and
what
then
happens.
you can get paid to do this. I don't. He might have even paid me. I can't remember that part.
Yeah.
And I just recall I didn't have any material. I just did impressions.
Right.
I would
Right.
do like an old joke. I would do an old joke and put an impression in it.
Yeah,
If it was
right.
a gay guy, I do Truman Capote.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think one of them was this cowboy walks into a bar. He goes, "Oh damn, I'm so horny. I could fuck a cow." And then Truman Capote goes, "Moo, moo." I just remembered that.
Isn't it cool when one of those comes back?
Yeah, that one
Oh,
came
shit.
back. Not that that's going to make a comeback anyway.
Yeah,
but it's just
right.
you and
You should
the-
open up with that this
Yeah.
weekend.
Thank God you're only 27 people. I'm not going to
Listen,
get canceled.
the kids that are calling you boomer have no idea who Truman Capote
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Right?
But I did a very good Truman Capote. I could
You
do
did.
I did Walter Brennan, Jimmy Carter. That's how
Yeah.
back far this goes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, a
would do
bunch of people are Googling right
Hey,
now.
listen, I'm going through that right now. I've been doing impressions for 30 34 years, and now Gilbert Gottfried's dead. Norm Macdonald died. Like all these guys that I've been doing for a while are all of a sudden gone, and it's only going to be a matter of time before people are going to go, who the fuck is Pee Wee Herman?
He's gone now too.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a brand new one that I'm doing. I've just started it 2 days ago. I watched a movie, and you ever watch something, you just go, man, I could do an impression of that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Taken, Liam Neeson. Here we go.
Yep.
I have a very special set of skills I've acquired over a long career. Skills that make me qualified to deal with people like you. Now, if you let my daughter go, I will not find you. I will not look for you. But if you do not, I will find you, and I will kill you.
That's not bad.
That was good.
Not bad. I thought it was
I
better.
said it was
That
good.
was
and I'm the
damn good.
impressionist.
Better than
He's
not bad.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Scott has no special skills that anybody can understand.
None. I feel so outclassed right now.
I can't
Works
even
out of
do
his friend's
anything.
basement.
The only
Gives himself to be a comedy career.
the only impression I could do with laryngitis is Trump. That's what we were talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Dinner. Fantastic. This is the best podcast from a basement you're ever going to hear. And it's not just me saying it. Everyone's saying it, okay?
That's very good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I gave you a very good.
Thank you.
I can give it up.
Gave you a
I can
very
give it up.
good.
Unlike Scott, he can't give it away here.
Yeah, I'll turn his mic off if
I'm
you
a
want.
Morgan Freeman. I'll do Morgan Freeman.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
In 1966,
Holy shit.
Andy Dufresne escaped from Shawshank Prison. All they found was a set of muddy prison clothes, old bar of soap, and a rock hammer nearly worn down to the nub. Andy Dufresne.
That was
damn
awesome.
good Morgan
I know.
Freeman.
That's
Oh,
one
my
I
God,
can't
damn
do.
good.
That is really good.
I believe I have a very special set of skills you can't understand.
Oh my God, I didn't know he did Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Well, welcome, Scott.
That's fantastic.
Craig, you're wasting your time with a man who's in a basement. He can give you an accolade.
Oh, that's right, dear.
Very
There
good,
you go.
spot-on impression.
So
It's too bad your voice is
is
gone because
I know.
Ace's best impression is Gilbert Godfrey by far and away.
And I can't.
You know, he
Well,
couldn't.
I can do that one. I can do
Yeah?
that.
You do
No,
Gilbert
my,
as well?
My best is Don Knotts.
Oh my
Nobody knows
God.
who that is anymore either. They think Barney is
love-
Barney the dinosaur, which is just awful.
Yeah, right.
It's terrible.
Mr. Furley.
Mr.
Come
Furley.
on,
Early
Mr.
Three's
Furley.
Company
Yeah.
or Barney Fife.
Yeah.
So there was a movie called Pleasantville,
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
yeah, it was. You remember Tobey Maguire, and it's
Yep.
Yeah.
Don Knotts. It
It's-
was his last movie.
Yes.
He played a TV repairman. I got a call from the director and the editor. We need a Don Knotts impression. He's too sick to come in.
And
Half
do
the
ADR.
movie is me doing him as an old guy.
Is it really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
watch
wow.
the movie. I have to do him as an old guy right now, not Barney Fife. Here we go.
Right.
He circles the apple on the telestrator. It's my voice going, boom! What do you call that right there, bud? The forbidden fruit here in Pleasantville. I'm your TV repairman, bud.
That's awesome.
So most of the movie
That
is
was-
actually my voice, and you cannot tell the difference. I've watched the movie.
No.
I've
that
watched the
literally-
movie. I'm going, oh my God, I can't tell which one's me. So anyway, yeah, and I was his favorite comic. He just-
Really?
he used to say to me, "You do me better than me." I can't do it anymore.
You literally sound like him from Three's Company as Mr.
Yeah.
Furley
Yes.
because he
Yeah,
was older
got
then
a little
too.
older. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
Barney
Yeah.
Fife anymore.
Don
Yeah.
Knotts.
His daughter came to my show once. And, she put me in the book called Tied Up in Knots. She has a book called Tied Up.
Oh, really?
She said, "You're my dad's favorite comedian," and so I'm in the book. And
That's what an
she goes to
honor.
my show. I never met her before. Everybody, it's Karen Knotts. Don Knotts. I said, I do an impression of your dad. I realized halfway through the impression I do is Barney Fife doing pornography. That was my
Just what
Now-
she wanted to hear.
Now, guys, do you do it or you do not do it? You tell me. What's the answer?
You commit.
Ugh.
You do it.
Commit.
Yes.
And I did.
Yes.
Right.
Only
Yes.
there I was humping in the air with her about her death. Take it all, Aunt B. Take it all. Back that fat ass up, Aunt B. Giving you a full bullet. Look out for that headboard. Well, Aunt B, did you come? I literally could not look over there. Oh, and then I threw Floyd the barber. Ooh, Aunt B came in. Ooh, she's a big O.
A big.
And I'm looking at this woman who I just met. She had disdain in her eyes.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh,
no,
I
she
thought-
didn't. She
I
didn't.
thought
I'm
you
just
were gonna
kidding.
say she loved it.
Yeah. That's not enough like my dad.
Yeah, she talks.
Imagine if she talked like that. I was
just like
thinking
your
of that too.
What an honor to be Don Knotts' favorite comedian.
Yeah, no shit.
That's
That's
just
crazy.
amazing.
I've
So
had the weirdest career of
That's
who
what
are
I was-
fans. Who are fans? It's unbelievable, and I just look back at my life. And it's just I'm writing a book about it. I have to write a book, even though nobody
You
who's gonna
definitely.
read it. You know, who's going to read the damn thing? But
Well, if you want to come
that's
on,
the thing when you do like a
and
memoir.
promote
You
it.
got to be famous if you do a memoir. But I have got this. Like even look behind me. Oh, there's Don Knotts over here.
Yeah.
Don Knotts right there. Right.
We may only have 27 listeners, but we've had a few people come on to promote their books and
Yeah.
have
You
done
wanna
pretty
come on and
well.
promote
So
the
when
book.
you release your book, let us know. We'd be happy to have you back on.
Okay.
That is the one thing. I don't know why. We've done pretty well with people
All
releasing
right. I'll
books.
take a couple followers. How about some followers? Official Craig Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd
On
be
Instagram.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take a couple followers. Tell me they heard me today.
Yeah.
It was worth me leaving my children. They're watching the new Star Wars, and I don't get to. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
No,
what are they
that's
watching?
right,
A show
Greg. Way
called-
to insult your guests over here. You're hosting over here. Yeah, you're HBO, Comedy Central, Netflix. Now you're on StreamYard in the basement, Craig.
There's so many good clips that we're gonna
Oh
get from
my
this.
God.
Yeah.
So I do, I know your time is limited, but I want to bring up what you're doing nowadays because I see on
We didn't even
LinkedIn.
talk about his career. We got to the beginning.
I know,
of it.
but I don't.
I just want to find out, like,
Go ahead.
from the music, opening up for the music act. You said it was like crack. That was it.
Yeah.
How long before you started getting really recognized to the point where you were touring all over the country?
It happened right away.
Because
really did. It
again,
happened
like you
very-
said,
You know
there
why?
weren't 10,000 comics back then.
That's correct. That's one of the reasons. And the other and comedy was starting to boom big time. Like this was like
82.
after disco, after Urban Cowboy, right? So those places.
Okay.
I was literally on a stage that once had a mechanical bull on it.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
A disco ball. A disco ball. All this is the remnants of times past. And there I was on those stages, strip clubs, all sorts of stuff. I'd just get up anywhere. That was the other thing. I would get up
Right.
at fraternity parties. I performed at the inaugural ball of my college president.
Really?
There I
Wow.
was,
Yeah.
I'm into drugs and alcohol and stuff. I was never forget. I used to have a bit, celebrities smoking pot. So that I couldn't drop it, So
Right.
here I was in front of the teachers and faculty,
Dean.
going. I was like, and I ended up Curly from the Three Stooges writhing on the floor, going, "Whoa, whoa, 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 I'm stoned." So I'm like looking at these shiny shoes as I'm on the floor going in a circle as Curly. I'm going, "What are you doing?
What am I doing?
What am I doing?" But I got out of all these parking tickets for doing that. I got
Really?
Comedy was so good to me. Put me through college. I didn't have a dad, no money. And put me
Wow.
through college. I had 4 years of college, and I've had a career for a long time doing comedy, which I love to do. I was talking about this the other day. It's also in the book. My first moments of comedy were actually fourth grade. I was very, I was a very tiny kid and very, beaten up and stuff. But the worst than beating was I was a poor kid in a kind of richer neighborhood. And that's a real source of shame with no dad, nobody protecting me, alone. My mom was always working and stuff like that. And I remember telling a story about my mom beating me, and the whole place was like, "Whoa, what is this guy saying?" And it was kind of like this ethereal moment where I went, "Man, this is just like they're looking at me, they're paying attention to me, they're not beating me, they're actually liking me." And I kept going, and I said, "Oh, she beat me. I was a piñata, and I had candy flying out of my ears, and I'm doing the whole thing." I remember the feeling was just, it was incomprehensible how it went from this kid that was, we moved a lot. I used to think the word evict meant move. I thought they were the same word.
Really?
Here's the eviction truck, mommy. And it was like this way to get from this pain of the abandonment of my father and, no father figure and nothing, and living with females and, the shower curtain was nylon stockings. I mean, we actually had no shower.
Yeah.
Because we're too poor to have a shower. I mean, it was just, and here I was. Then I got elevated to the top of the heap that day. And then the next day, that Mrs. Stout was her name, she took me and she says, "Class, this is a big mouth right here, and we're going to teach him a lesson."
Wow.
And she put me in a closet for an entire day with my hands tied behind my back, like bound, like
Oh my God.
not gagged, but bound with blue yarn. She tied my wrists, and she said, "You're not going to get up from this box." And I was defiant. I get up and look at her thighs coming at me through the vent.
Yeah.
But there was something inside that said, "You keep going." And by the way, no one encourages you to do comedy. No classes. There's no teacher, no parent, your guidance counselor. You got to really fuck up if your guidance counselor be
right.
Your comedy career. That's all you have. And even that, nobody would, because you got to be smart to be a comedian. So, so even if you did fuck up, they probably put you in some sort of easy job in a sewer. But anyway, that was it. It was a voice inside to keep going. And I encourage everybody to, just listen to the voice inside and don't listen to outside voices, because they're always going to take you down, including cancel culture. Now, people, if they can't deal with feelings and projected feelings, whatever it is, just listen to that voice. It sends you into different directions.
Right.
Mine sent me to a basement in Providence today.
I don't listen.
I was going to ask you for
stop bragging. Okay, stop bragging, buddy.
We were going to ask you for a high point, but you just said what it was. So
a high point.
Yeah.
Like what is a moment that you look back at and you go, that was the moment that I knew that I had made it, and this was like that big moment.
Yeah, there were a few, and they all have to do with my childhood.
Really?
Like Don Knotts, I did comic relief in like 97.
Oh,
I was on the rise. I was a young guy, and Whoopi got me on the show, and she's awesome. She's been amazing for me. And Chris Rock was on it. He was kind of discovered that night too. Me and Chris Rock, we did press conferences afterwards, which was really crazy.
Wow.
Like I go from the stage where I killed, and Don Knotts was there that night with the Steve Allen show. And people said he was watching me on the monitor, turn to Steve Allen, go, "He does me pretty good, doesn't he, Steve?" And they were next to each other. And that was one night where I went, "Whoa, this is something else." And then the other one was when I was a kid, I didn't have a dad, so I used to write letters to celebrities to try to fix them up with my mother. Because I thought, if she marries him, she'll be happy. And the guy I chose to be my father, to adopt me, to meet my mother, because I read in Parade magazine he was single. I said, this is my guy. And my mom would laugh at him. She loved him. And I loved him too. So perfect stepdad, perfect husband for her. And she loved this guy, Paul Lynde, the center square. Uncle Arthur on Bewitched. He'd pop out of a toaster. "Hello, Samantha."
Listen,
anyway, I love this guy. And I said, "Mr. Paul Lynde, you should meet my mother. You will unconfirm as a bachelor. Here's her photo in her belly dancing outfit. And you should meet my mother." And my dream, I'm not kidding you, was to be, he would adopt me. I had a whole fantasy thing going on. He would adopt me. We would be the first father and son team on the Hollywood Squares.
Oh, my
We could
God.
share a box.
Oh, yeah.
He would go, "I'd like Craig and Paul Lynde for the win, please." He would say to me, go, "Take it, son. It's a sports question." I was imagining this happen. So here's my moment of, wow, you made it. I did 75 episodes of Hollywood Squares, the new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So and I'm not a big celebrity, so I was always Craig Shoemaker to block. I was never
never for the win.
No, never. All the time, I'm the only way to go. So I'll take Antonio Banderas for the loss. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
never center square like Gilbert, right?
So Whoopi would let me on the commercial break. She would let me go into the center square and be with her on her lap, and she would be Paul Lynde, and I would be my little Craig.
Oh my God!
And she'd go, "Okay, Craigie," and so yeah, little fantasies like that, the comic relief, and these different things have happened, and meeting people like AC/DC sang at my wedding, and just like really crazy stuff. I was on Broadway and with Kenny Loggins. When his singer got sick, I replaced the singer. On Broadway. I mean, it's just like my friends heckling me. They're drunk in the front row. "Yo, Shoo, tell them about the time you pissed your pants in Miss Kleimel's class."
You can always count on your friends.
Yeah.
Always count on the friends. Oh, and then they passed out. Then they wake up during the acoustic set where I'm singing with Kenny, and all of a sudden one goes, "Yo, Shoe singing with Kenny Loggins. Poo corner fucker."
Hey, do that Stevie Nicks thing with him. Do that Stevie Nicks duet with him. That's got to be crazy. I mean, that's
all these nutty things have happened that are just so, and yet I never became famous. I never became like really big, but I've had these really incredible moments. I'm looking behind me. I've got a movie I made about pot. I've got a porn I was in. I didn't know it was a porn until I did it.
No.
But listen, as long as they're given, I'm taking. You know.
Hold on, I'm on Pornhub right now. What's the name of it?
Oh my God, it is so bad. This movie. I could show it to you.
Well, we can pull it up on the screen too.
A VCR, not a VCR, a videotape of it. It came out video from Trauma Films. You ever heard of Trauma? They talk Avengers and stuff like that. Well, they distributed something called Tomcat Angels, right? And this is at the time I moved to California, and
this asshole's looking it up, by the way.
I wanted to be a star, but I needed tape. I had no tape of me, and there was an acting role. It was the first Iraq War, right? And the guy, he must have written the script in 5 minutes on his toilet. It was so bad. It was about an all-female group of fighter pilots, female group called the Tomcat Angels, and I'm their leader. It was TJ Nash.
Okay.
So I show up and I'm going, oh, my mom will be proud. I'm in Navy whites. They had me in Navy whites. And then they had a sex scene. And I said to the girl, I thought it was Mr. Holly. I was 20s, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like the man here, and she's really hot. And I said, listen, we should go in the other room and explore each other's bodies because we're going to be on celluloid for the rest of our lives. And then some. Our children will be watching this. All right. So we did. We went naked in the other room, explored each other's bodies.
Wow.
And I said, hey, I'm not going to wear one of those flesh thong things. I'll bust through that thing. The Lovemaster, baby. It's a true story.
Lovemaster came out.
The true story, 100%. Right? Should I show you the box?
No.
That sounded weird. Show you the box after I'm talking about
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird way to phrase that.
So I go.
I just ordered Tomcat Angels on Amazon, by the way.
No, I don't get a dime for it.
Oh, really?
I wasn't worried about that, by the way.
Officer number 2?
No, he's TJ Nash.
Oh, I was the leader, buddy.
TJ Nash.
A horrible movie like this, I would have taken a B roll. No, I thought I'm going to get some tape out of this. I'm going to
and I'm not surprised.
How bad the acting is, the dialogue. I will look good because I'm a great actor.
Hey, after you just said that I was in a porn movie, I heard you on Jim and Sam on XM recently, and from the talent I heard that you have, what you were discussing with Jim Norton, I'm not surprised.
All right. We know what happened.
Okay.
I told her, I said, I'm going to put my penis to the side. Okay. Instead of, and you ride the penis to the side. All right. And then that's how we'll do it. I said, I can't wear a thong. It's just not going to happen. So she did. Right. And meanwhile, this Asian girl, I'm going to do a bad Asian impression, but who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So she, in front of me, she goes, that's how we're going to do it. Because the Asian girl, she's about to do a porn scene too. It's like soft porn.
Yeah.
So she goes, you crazy? You better put tampon in. He actor. He going to slip that motherfucker in there. You put tampon in, you'll stop that motherfucker like a dam. So she goes, should I? I go, no, you don't need to do that. Don't you worry. I'm going to put it to the side. All right? And you just ride it. No, you don't do that. They lie. They don't lie. When you see that, when you see the movie, she's very hot, this Asian. Anyway, she did it. The next day I show up and there's no director. I go, what happened to him? And the producer goes, that stupid ass. He goes, I was watching the dailies. That's the next day. He goes, yeah. Your fucking pecker poked over her thigh the whole fucking time like a turtle. You can see her fucking head.
So you could see your schlong all through the whole scene.
It kept popping up like a turtle looking for food. And I got the director fired. So then you watch the movie now, it's me on top of her where it's, and they've slow-mo my orgasm where the lions were is the ugliest face I've ever seen in my life.
Director hadn't heard the legends about you.
Apparently not.
Was he the human tripod?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 4 inches. That's all folded. I'm sorry. Some women don't like it that wide. I remember my own lines.
Oh. So, all right. So, what? Because
I know we're all over the place.
We
love it.
We want to respect your time too, though.
This is like hanging out in the green room. I love it.
That's exactly what the show is about. So, Scott started saying. So, what have you been doing lately? Because you've been touring around with your own company now, doing Is it corporate events?
Well, I do some corporate and some speaking, and I coach on Zoom. Anybody wants to sign up, I do one-on-one too. I teach people how to use humor. As a matter of fact, you're going to hear the brand new title we came up with yesterday of my podcast, my book, and everything. It's called The Turnaround. So you can turn anything around with humor. You can turn your life around. I've had a really difficult life. I was kidnapped as a kid. Suicide, drugs, alcohol, everything. Turned it all around, and I got the skills and the tools to do it. I have a whole program to deprogram and recondition people because we're conditioned not to win. So it's a winning with humor program, and it's awesome. And I have so much fun doing it. Developed this thing based on is that the alarm that I'm up?
Fuck it. What the hell is that?
Or is that a
Sounds
phone
like
call?
jingle bells.
No, it sounds like
my ring camera going off.
Here's my wind chimes that
exactly.
That was supposed to be on silent. Sorry.
Yeah, good job there, buddy. So
all right.
it's
Anyway,
about
that's
turning anything around.
Yeah,
Turning your life around.
That's what my book is about. I turn everything around, and I'm a happy guy. And no matter what, I've had difficult divorce.
Yeah.
So can I
all
ask you?
sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Can I ask you because no one really glosses over kidnapping.
Yeah, that you just listed that amongst other things.
You mentioned that your mom, you didn't have a dad and stuff like that.
I hovered over my body. I've had a lot of stuff happen. Yeah, the kidnapping, not the greatest moment, but not a lot of bits about it. I don't have a whole kidnapped hunk with a pedophile.
You get hired for a corporate gig. Do the kidnapping stuff. Do the kidnapping stuff.
He's not known for the kidnapping hunk.
What happened?
Do a whole bit. I was a father figure, and he told me all these promises, and I was so excited. I was bragging. Everybody's going to take me to Washington, D.C. to a football game, see the Eagles against the Redskins, and I bragged everybody would go to be in this beautiful hotel, and it turns out he was a serial pedophile. We went to a ghetto hotel with skeleton keys and piss on the floor, and it was just awful. 5 days.
Did you go to the game?
I couldn't get out. I didn't get to go to the game. Though. Sorry. Listen, I like the Aces thinking there. I got to go to the game.
I turned it around. You see
turn around.
I turned it around.
You always find the sunshine, my friend.
Ace, it's almost like you took my course. You turned it around. I got to go to the game.
Thank
Fully
you.
clothed.
Couldn't sit
How about
down.
that? And by the way, I didn't pay for the damn tickets.
There you go.
Told I ain't paying anything.
That's right.
Free ride to DC. How about that? I turned it around.
He stood the whole time, but he went to the game.
Right? No, you paid for the game.
Oh, you paid.
The damn game. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, and listen, I do this also for people that maybe they were had to dealing with a pedophile, whatever it is. Listen, where you live, most likely it's half your audience. Anyway,
hey,
but
sad part is not too far
there's
off.
A saying.
But the thing is, I'm here to tell people I survive and thrive no matter what, and I do it with humor.
Awesome.
I have fun in my life.
Right.
Make sure that I teach people how to be funnier and fun. There's a whole system, and I love this more than I do stand up. To tell you the truth, I like teaching people how to turn things around in their life to make it positive, fulfilling, joy-filled, magnificent, all those things we can have, and it doesn't all have to be sadness and misery loves company and all thoughts and prayers for the dead and all this kind of stuff. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of bullshit. We just keep going on a wheel. We're going on a wheel, and we're not stopping for consciousness.
Right. And we're all going. I don't care who you are. Everyone that you see is going through something.
Yeah.
Some sort of adversity. Like you said, in the absence of pain. You can't have absence of pain because then you can't deal with it when it comes along, and it will come along.
Yeah.
So the better you deal with it. Right.
Pain's inevitable. Suffering's a choice.
Right.
And
exactly.
Well
how
said.
you deal with
well said.
I choose no suffer. A little bit, and when I'm in it, I don't like being a victim. I don't like blaming. And I listen. Even that guy, his name's Ben Rauscher. I completely forgive him. Completely.
Really?
He does not have the keys to my prison.
No,
He's not
you don't
hold
allow
the
it.
keys to my life.
Now, Craig, if somebody wants to contact you about doing this type of coaching with you, what's the best way for them to?
Or maybe they could email and say, "What the fuck are you doing for an hour, Craig?"
In a basement.
Maybe that's their way of healing is by finding out why the fuck you did this.
Yeah, right.
That's my way of healing and making fun of you.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
For
if
all
someone
the torture
wanted,
I got from all the kids that tortured me. Anyway, CraigShoemaker.com. Just press
okay. And I'll put that link in the show notes.
Official Craig Shoemaker on Instagram. You can DM me.
Okay.
I know what a DM is. Yes, I do. And the Twitter, I'm the Lovemaster on Twitter, Facebook. There's a Facebook page, and I love staying in touch with people too. I answer people's questions, whatever they have. Take the course. We're almost finished with one course, but one-on-one, I love one-on-one too. I work with people, getting them to tap into their own creator, like be creative.
That's awesome.
Right.
And most people aren't creative anymore. We're just in line. We're like, I have a book also called Get Out of Line and Into Alignment. Get into alignment with yourself. Get out of the lines with everyone else and copying everybody. And, shame is attached. You don't agree with them and all that stuff. Yeah, do your thing that makes you move and makes you happy. And don't just buy into the fear of people admonishing you or shaming you and all that kind of stuff. The pandemic was really the time I really broke free from that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just trust what you say. I'm not going to just trust science because you tell me to trust science, some words that you found in your echo chamber. No, I'm not going to go down anybody's echo chamber. No, not going to go right. Not going to go left. I'm going to go right here in the center and have a good time. And they're trying to cancel comedians. I say encourage the comedians. We tell the truth as people don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
Right.
But what's happening now, there's some brave ones out there. Ricky Gervais and Russell Brand.
Yes.
There's some brave people out there going, hey, here's something they don't want you to see. That's why they, and I love it. And here's some ridiculous methods that we're having with the, the identification and how it keeps changing. And I'm like, God, I'm on these dating apps. I can't even keep tracks of the types of sexual, pansexual. I got to look this shit up. What is that? With a pot and pan? Pansexual. Was it homo sapia? I have no idea. Cross gender, cisgender, this gender. I have no idea. And then because I don't know, they think I'm a phobe. I'm not a phobe.
Right. You just don't know.
Right.
I'm an idiot. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. I can't keep up with this LGBTQ, STUV. I don't know. Okay. That doesn't make me an asshole.
Right.
It makes me I'm trying to keep up. But why do I have to keep up with what you tell me to keep up? That's why I have a slogan. By the way, you get these T-shirts if you want to. Do I have one on me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey Michelle, bring me an unwoke. I have unwoke as fuck.
I saw it on one of your pictures.
And I tell my kids it's unwoke Air Force, but it could be whatever. It's like, stop telling me what my cause is and act like I'm an ass because I don't follow your hashtag.
Right. And you know what?
Right. I'm really Native Americans. I think they had it the worst of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
And no one says a word because there's no one in Hollywood is Native American.
Right.
They put them in these places. They have no plumbing. Alcohol, the whole deal. They gave smallpox and the kids' blankets. Horrible atrocities. You don't hear a word. Does that mean you're not woke because you don't go for my cause, which I think is pretty significant, but I have to go for your cause because everything has to stop now. All important things, homelessness and invasions of alien invasions, whatever it is, the gas prices, everything else, wars. I have to stop because your kid wants to get his dick chopped off. It's crazy.
My thing is everyone, like, I'll respect you. I'll respect any choice you make for yourself. Right. But why does a majority have to bend to a minority of people? Like, and again, I'm saying I respect that minority, but why does everything have to conform? And I can't stand the labels
because it's a loud minority.
Now that, excuse me, now that you have a label for yourself, now everyone else is labeled. It's like you said, I don't understand all of this. That doesn't mean I am phobic of it.
And by the way, Bruce Jenner's a friend of mine. Everybody goes, no, it's Caitlyn Jenner. I go, no, Bruce, I've known for 30 years. I know a person named Bruce Jenner.
Right.
I also know Kathy Breen is now Kathleen Breen. I have a hard time with it. Now, I have a hard time saying Caitlyn. I ran into her. I got that right. And I said, bro, 4 times. When are we golfing, bro? What tees do you play off of, bro?
Right.
I mean, wasn't like
that changed the bet there.
Mean. I wasn't being mean. I just say bro to people. And I called this person bro all these years. I'm not ignorant or phobic. I'm not afraid.
Right.
I'm not afraid I'm going to be raped by a trans.
You're also protecting your golf game because that's a bullshit excuse if she's playing from the Reds.
Yes, that's all. We got money on this game.
Yeah, she's on the Reds and she's hitting a 325-yard drive.
She did tell me that she still plays from the Blues.
Of course.
Well, I respect that.
That's
then.
good.
I respect that.
I respect that. Too.
I respect that.
That's
Then.
awesome.
But before we get to our final question, because we know you have to go, everybody that's listening, if you're interested in getting in touch with Craig, I will include his website and all his social medias in the show notes for today. So check that out. If you want to be coached by him, please reach out to him. He is very, very responsive, and he will get back to you.
Wait a minute. Look at this. I just saw, here it is in front of me. If anybody's watching, this is my mouse pad. Isn't that a great logo?
Unwoke AF. Perfect.
Great logo.
Perfect. I love that.
We start a whole tour of Unwoke AF because most comedians are unwoke now because we're sick of this. We're sick of this. Virtue signalers canceling us, or they don't even know the jokes that they don't like from Dave Chappelle. They don't even know what the jokes are. They're just going transphobic and all this.
Because they don't listen to the joke. They listen for a word to be triggered by.
Exactly. People have lost their sense of humor. They lost their way. So go find your way, everybody. That's what I'm here for. Help you find your way again. Turn it around. Get out of your safe space and into a space of fun. Having love, light, and levity, man. Just have a good time.
Levity. That's the.
What's your last question? I can't.
Last question. All right. So we ask every guest, especially comics, to tell us about a funny bad gig that you had, and that's the gig that was so bad that the night it happened, it wasn't funny at all.
You were wondering if the law office was still rehiring.
Yeah, you wanted to go back and be a lawyer.
I'm quitting. I got
it. But then, like 2-3 weeks later, you're in the green room and a bunch of comics are talking, and we're talking about
sharing war stories.
I had this shitty gig last week. It was a bachelor party. Blah blah blah. And you're like, oh, you think that's bad? I got one.
Well, I haven't had too many, and no. I mean, most of them are like, corporate gigs. I did one. It was really rough. 1,000 people talked the entire time because they during COVID, and they were there for awards for themselves. They could care less. I was talking to air. I mean, it was embarrassing. Anybody who was a fan of mine, I was embarrassed. It was one of those where I've actually been on stage and go, there's no one on the planet that could do well right now. There's no one on this planet that would be funny enough to do well. That's period. And anyway.
And that's the thing. This question came from the fact that we isolated. There are situations comics are put in that just it's never going to work for comedy. It doesn't matter if you're in between two bands, like you said, going up in front of a band. If the audience, if the comedy is a surprise to the audience, we didn't tell them the comedian was here.
Yeah,
you're going to go out and surprise them, or you're doing a gig at a sports bar.
But they're going
during the playoffs.
Oh my
God! They don't want to turn the TVs off. They're just going to mute.
We're going to mute them so that the sound's not on, but we're leaving the game on.
So
and then you hear a cheer in the middle of your joke.
Yeah. It's all about the situations that we're put in.
Yeah,
so.
we're put in some certain situations, and that's the other thing: the disrespect of comedians.
Yes.
I mean, when Chris Rock got slapped, and they gave him a standing ovation, that was the end of me for Hollywood. I was like, "You're disgusting."
Yes.
Any balls. They standing ovation for an assault on a comedian, and it was because he was a comedian. Anyone else, that would not have happened.
Exactly.
I'm not even kidding you. It could have been the insurance adjuster, and somebody would have arrested that guy.
Yeah, if he went up,
that's how much they were disrespected, and that just opens the gates for more disrespect.
Exactly.
At the Oscars, they don't even have a comedy category. That tells you what they think of comedians.
Right.
If something's wrong here and something's off.
If they ever slapped the people from Ernst & Young with the fucking briefcase, they would have been tackled and brought out.
Exactly. So
Ernst & Young. I know.
I just can't understand it.
Yeah.
And there's something about, I want to reverse that. That's one of my goals, is to have a respect for comedy. Anyway, so that's what happens in some of these gigs is we are considered second class, low class citizens. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of the truth, afraid to hear what we say. A lot of times they're offended where they're just trying to be offended. So anyway, I did this gig years ago, comes to mind. And this guy converted his garage, this big garage where he fixed cars, and he painted the windows so that you couldn't see out. And now he has a comedy club. Put some curtains.
My God.
Put some curtains.
That makes sense.
Right. And he's got, pretty sizable crowd, sold out. And he gets up and he tells these awful jokes, and that's the cue for me So obviously unprofessional, amateur. So now they go, oh, it's an amateur hour. It's a guy that tells jokes we tell at the bar anyway, right?
Right.
So the cue line, the last thing he said before introducing me was, so the cat came on the curtains. I think that was the punchline. The cat came on the curtains. Now we're ready for comedy.
How do you follow that?
Now we're ready. Yeah, now we're ready for the professional comedian that is in here from California, whatever it was. He is Palmyra, New Jersey, and he introduces me, and just the whole place is chattering, everything else. I'm upstairs, and I feel this presence behind me. There's a guy from the audience had came up on stage and started humping my leg like a dog. He's miming humping.
Oh,
really?
God.
Yeah, like a dog.
Just to get a rise out of the
audience.
Yeah,
and he's got a beer in his hand. He's just doing his humping motion. I turn around and go, what the fuck? And the only time I think, one of the only, if not one of the only times I walked off stage. I was like, that's it. You know, I can only
get physically assaulted.
Well, because it's like you said, there's no respect. They look at us. A lot of people don't realize just how smart you have to be a comedian. You have to be smart and observant. But they look at us as the court jester, as the fool.
The court, you amuse me, fool.
Yeah, come on.
You're performing for them, and but anyway, that's the only time I walked off, because I said I wanted some personal time with him in the back, and I got his card.
Did he kiss you when he was done?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
Anyway, I am done.
And the cat came on the curtains.
I got to get back to the kids.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
We're huge fans, and man, this was awesome for us. So we really appreciate it. Again, all of his socials, his website, everything will be in the show notes. So
I better get boosted.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Have a great night.
I don't even know how to get out of here.
I kicked him out. I got him out.
So that was Craig Shoemaker, everybody. I hope you guys, man,
awesome.
he was phenomenal. That guy is one of the best all-time stand-ups. If he comes to your area, make it a point to go see him on stage. He is unbelievable. And seriously, if you're looking for, if you're trying to overcome something, if you're looking for some public speaking advice, if you're looking for some kind of coaching, that guy can really, really help you a lot.
Listen, I'm sitting here thinking when he started talking about well-structured and callbacks, I'm like, you do one-on-one coaching?
He does.
He could listen to my act and actually get me some callbacks.
And he would.
Yeah,
he would.
I'm sure. He was fantastic. He was great to deal with. And we, he's on LA time, so it was like, 4:00 his time?
Yeah.
When we went on.
And
he he's taking time away from his family to be with us.
And
he
actually gave us more time than he originally said.
Yeah, he said, let's do 50 minutes, but you could tell he was having a good time, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And like we said at the beginning of the show, our bourbon date this week is Weller Special Reserve from Buffalo Trace Brewery. This is what happens when you do it at the end after you've had a few. Distillery. And Ace will tell you the story of how this came to be.
I smuggled it into the state.
It was like a Smokey and the Bandit run.
Listen.
He was the Jerry Reed.
It's weird. I got this new job a couple of months ago. It's got me traveling all around. And I had a work meeting that happened to be in Lexington, Kentucky.
Of course.
And we got done early one day and had a team building, like a tour of the Buffalo Trace distillery. In fact, we can throw some of the pictures. If you go to the Behind the Funny page, I put a bunch of pictures up during the tour.
Go right to our Facebook page and all the pictures are there.
But it was fantastic. It was great. I mean, some of the stuff we already knew. The guy was quizzing some of us, and I knew some of the answers.
Nice.
And I was all excited. And then we saw the whole process. And then afterwards, you get to go through the gift shop, and you can buy up to 2 bottles. Luckily, my boss doesn't drink, so she bought one, and I Venmo'd her. So I got 3 bottles.
They didn't have any Pappy Van Winkle for that?
No, they didn't have that.
Did they discuss Pappy?
They did discuss Pappy. Yeah. So we should definitely I've reached out to the guys on the Bourbon podcast.
Yes.
Haven't heard back from them
I would love to talk to those guys. That. Yeah.
But I learned so much on there. But at the end of the tour, you can buy up to 2 bottles, and you could buy, there's Buffalo Trace, they have their own vodka they make.
Which I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
vodka.
that.
They make a cream. Oh my God. They had at the tasting, they had this thing where they make a root beer that's non-alcoholic.
Right.
And then they make this cream almost like a Bailey's or something like that, but it's their version of it. So they have you take a sip. He says, just take a sip. Don't drink the whole thing of the cream. He goes, okay, how was it? And we're like, oh, wow, that's really tasty. He goes, okay, now take your root beer and pour that into the cream because it mixes up really well.
Did it taste like an ice cream soda?
Holy fucking shit. It tasted like a root beer float. It
Yeah.
was delicious.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, I didn't buy any of the root beer or the cream because I ended up getting, so you could
priorities,
buy a
my
bunch of
friend.
different, exactly. You could buy a
Priorities.
bunch of different things, and they make one special offering each day. So that day was the Weller Special Reserve,
Which
green
is a
label,
fantastic
which is
bourbon.
delicious. I was like, hey, do you have any Blantons? And they said, it'll probably be what we have tomorrow. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm flying out tomorrow and I don't have time to get here. But if you are ever in the Lexington, Kentucky area, let me tell you, first of all, it's a beautiful area. All rolling hills, horse farms, obviously.
Yeah.
But it is just such a beautiful place. We had such a blast. And yeah, that's how we ended up, getting the Weller tonight, and we got some Buffalo Trace to nibble on in a few weeks.
You cannot go wrong with any of the Buffalo Trace bourbons. They're
No.
all delicious. Different flavor profiles.
Yeah.
Because they're aged differently.
Right.
The mash is slightly different, so some of them will have a little more spice to them. Some of them are a little more mellow because of the aging process and
Yeah.
everything like that. But all of them are just really nice flavor.
It was so amazing to go through there because I have, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, I've had, we both have seen the documentary Neat,
which is
all
great-
about bourbon.
If you like bourbon, that's a great documentary. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it'll teach you, and that's where I learned a lot. But they interviewed some of the people from Buffalo Trace in
Yes.
that documentary.
Yes.
So to be walking through the tour and seeing the barrels, where they store the barrels, where they fill the barrels, how they make it, it was just. I was in heaven. I must have taken about 45 pictures in an hour tour.
Yeah,
And
I know.
was
I
sending
kept
them all
getting
to
fucking
Scott.
texts. I was like,
I know.
I was so jealous of
I was
them,
in
but-
heaven.
But
But
we
the
are
good
going
thing
to
is-
plan a trip.
Because there's a Marriott right next door to Buffalo Trace,
Yes,
and we're
we're-
going on Marriott points
We're
next year.
we're planning a trip. We're going to go down. We're going to do the tour. We're going to do a podcast down there. Hopefully, put a show together. We're going
Or
to
a
do
few.
something big down there.
I'd like to try and find some Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky comedians like in that area.
If we have any listeners in that area, if you know of any comedians in that area or within an hour drive of that area or whatever, please let us know. One, we'd love to have them on the podcast, and then two, we could also make connections where we could put something together with those guys.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
Honestly, I'd love to be able to go down to the Buffalo Trace, distillery, do the tour, and do a podcast right from there.
Right,
you know?
exactly. We'd love to put something together. So if you're from that area and you know somebody, please pass on a few names. Go to the Behind the Funny Podcast Facebook page. You can message us there.
Yeah.
You can go to our Twitter page or email us behindthefunnypod@gmail.com. So
Next week,
who do we have next week?
we have Lord Tony Moschetto.
Tony was one of those guys I got to work with so much when I first started, and I haven't seen him in so long.
I haven't
I'm
seen
looking
him.
forward to that. That's going to be so cool
I
hanging out
didn't-
with Tony again.
I didn't get to talk about it, but there was a Boston comedy reunion, 80s and 90s Boston comedy reunion up at
I s-
Giggles a couple of weeks
I
ago.
saw the people that were there, man.
It
That was so
amazing. And
cool.
believe me, I worked it. I'm working on Dom Fig, some of those guys that
Dom was another guy I used to work with all the time.
And-
Hilarious comedian.
working on getting some of them, and even some newer guys that ended up being there that are just in close with Mike Clark, like Matt Mishi.
Yes, yeah.
Newer guy, but he also books comedy all up on the North Shore. But it was great. It was such a fun time. I mean, Lenny Clark and Mike Clark were there. Tony V was there. I mean, I
Love
can't
Tony.
drop enough names. Karen Nooch. I don't know. Did you ever work with
No,
Karen Nooch?
no.
She was there. So it was a lot of fun. Bob Carney was there. Our buddy
Oh,
Bob.
Bob.
Bob Keane, everyone's pal,
Jeez,
was
Bob.
there. So it was fantastic. But But yeah, so there I saw Tony Moschetto, and I was like, dude, well, we want to get you on a podcast. And so we looked at dates, and now he's gonna be here next week. So
awesome.
He's just coming off of the. He doesn't do a lot of comedy anymore, but he did the Hampton Beach Comedy Fest this year with Jimmy Dunn. So it'll be fun to talk to him a little bit.
The
about
very
that.
first fundraiser I ever booked myself was for Project Graduation for the high school in my town, and Tony was a headliner.
Tony was the headliner. He's just so funny.
Tony was a headliner. So I look forward to talk to him, and I hope you guys. I have to mention, if you guys listened last week to Bob Nelson, I mean that was such a cool moment
dream.
for us to get to talk to him, and he is one of the nicest, sweetest human beings.
Yeah.
On the face of the earth. I mean, I'm so glad he's doing well. If you didn't get a chance to listen, go back and listen to that. Bob is a guy that just had an amazing career, just, was every comedian loved Bob.
Yeah.
And he went through a health scare and came through. Hopefully, he's still kind of on the other side of it, but, still going through it at the same time, but is doing really well and just was so generous with his stories and his time, and talked about his health battle. And it was just such a great episode. So if you've listened to it,
give us some feedback.
Give us some feedback. Let us know, but also take the time to give us a 5-star written review.
Yeah.
That's a big help to the podcast. And tell a friend. Tell a friend about it. Pass it on. I mean, Ace has done an amazing job booking some great guests. I mean, Bob Nelson, if you're a comedy fan, you knew who Bob was before we had him on.
Right.
If you're a comedy fan,
Craig
you knew who
Shoemaker.
Craig Shoemaker is.
Right.
I mean, we're getting some great guests. Ace has done a great job. And, I really want people to be able to, besides the Apple Podcast charts where we're doing well in Saudi Arabia and Vietnam, we want some people in our own home country to listen.
Nice.
So
no, but please tell a friend about us and share it. Also, in 2 weeks, we have our buddies from the Mixtape Podcast.
I can't wait
on.
for that one.
We're going to do a special episode because obviously their stuff is all about 80s and 90s. And unfortunately, we lost Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I immediately reached out to those guys and said, hey, would that fit your format? Could we do a show on that? And they were like, we wanted to do a show on that anyway. So, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to have a crossover episode, and hopefully their cameras will be working. We did have a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago, and all the cameras were working. We finally...
Except for one.
Well, Kevin's was working. Oh, Kevin kept dropping in and out.
Yeah.
But we got to see what he looked like.
Yeah,
anyway.
finally.
It wasn't like an emoji of a cat that we saw from like the first time. But we're going to do a slide whistle off. It's going to be a blast. So listen, folks, we really appreciate you listening. And other than that,
we'll talk to you
next week.